Hey guys, Jen back with another discussion topic for you guys. So today we are going to do paperback versus digital, and what we would basically pick with both of those things. So, you know, we'll cover both of these. I have 5 for each, kind of a pro and con of the other for each, and of course then I will kind of give you my own opinion, things like that, throughout the whole thing. So anyway, getting into it, let's start with paperback. So a good thing about reading paperback and whatnot is the fact that you absorb more information off of it. It's probably why we have textbooks and stuff, honestly, versus some computers. Now, the other thing with that is most of that stuff is done for us to actually just learn more vocabulary and whatnot and be able to make multiple choice answers easier for us. But I digress. Anyway, yeah, we absorb more information when we read books. Who knows why, but when you read a book, it just sticks in your head a lot longer. I think this goes to with a pro. On the other side, though, with that, is when we read, we do have more of that stuff, but you kind of got to be in a better circumstance, I would say. Pro of the digital side, though, is the fact that you only have to have one thing versus many of these things like this. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and by the time I go, hey, for my vacation trip, I'd like to take this whole set and this whole series for, Flowers of Evil. How much room does that actually leave me in my suitcase for other things that I probably should and will need to take, versus taking a tablet or something like that to read my books on, all in a one-stop shop kind of device with all that stuff. So you obviously can't take your library anyway with you on a trip. So, that's one thing. I think that's why a lot of readers actually like to stay home instead of going to places, unless they're not really going to read that much at all. Have you ever heard that from somebody? They always, I didn't really get to finish my book. Or while they're on vacation, they read too much book or too many books and whatnot. And they take like a separate suitcase that has its own value for their library. So, number 2 for paperback, though, is it makes you a better reader. Again, I think this goes with the absorb more information thing. I think doing that and being able to focus on a page at a time, then you're going to do that. You're going to actually focus on what this one page is and digest it, versus on digital, where it's one solid kind of scrolling thing, and even though it's broken into page numbers, you're just basically kind of seeing one solid thing the whole time you're going through it. So I think that's kind of a thing with that. You absorb it one page at a time, like that. Number 2 for digital. Digital, basically, sometimes we also get ones that have like an audiobook feature, and where it will read it to you. Now, I know some other times we can get some other things like that. For me, on this paperback, I enjoy more because the the voices of the characters in my head is a lot better sometimes than whoever they may have chosen to like read that. And it could make it a little weird, but that is an option, because while you're in the car, you can sit there, you can turn on the book and have it read to you and whatnot, and then really not have to worry about that you're kind of accomplishing two things at once. Paperback, you kind of have to be sitting still to almost do that. I know a lot of my family, when we take a car trip or whatever, some of them can read in the car, and some of them can't because it makes them nauseous. So, number 3 for paperback. Number 3 for paperback is easier on the eyes. You know, you do that and you might not get so many migraines or whatever. I think it's probably that whole thing due to, you know, if you're going to read before bed or whatever, you have to have like a side table or something with a lamp that shines down on it. It takes it away. My air just kicked on. It takes it away where we actually have to do that, and you may not have to worry about that as much. Reading a book, it's easier on the eyes than that, but I feel like this is also a bit on the nose for both. While it's the pages not having a brightness to them are and can be easier on your eyes, the brightness of you having to have a lamp on is also kind of outshined on the flip side with number 3 for digital, where the tablet or whatever it is that you're reading your ebook on most of the time has its own setting for brightness, so you can sit there in bed and just read that, you know, kind of like reading something on our phones. It's easier doing it that way than having to actually have another light to shine down and actually read it that way. So number 3, like I said, for digital is actually being able to have your own brightness section out of that on your ebook stuff. So going into this, still in bedtime, number 4. Reading a regular book most of the time will help you fall asleep. It's probably the whole thing, like our phones and whatnot. They say, hey, get off your phones like an hour before bedtime or something like that. That way, whenever you're reading, you're not exactly like keeping your brain awake with a light on or anything. So that's probably another good thing with a regular paperback book or hardcover. You kind of like knock yourself out reading, so to speak. So another thing is that for digital, that they are more environmentally friendly. This is also a thing that goes more with number 1, that everything's all in one on a device, but environmentally friendly. You know, every time we want a book or something to read it off of, most of the time that has to, you know, take out a tree or something for us to have some of those. And yeah, so I mean, our tablets and stuff, after they're made, you really don't have to worry about another tree getting cut down. You get it digitally, you put it on there, and it goes from there. So another thing I feel like too with that, though, as kind of a pro and con, is if you are in somewhere, like if you go camping and your tablet dies, it might be harder for you to get electricity to have that turned back on if you're going to read, versus taking like a set of books with you. But again, that also just depends on being irresponsible and if you forget the cord or not anyway. Sometimes it happens with our phones, and then we have to run to the gas station or something like that and buy one. So going into it, both of these last ones I put on here just because I feel like in and of themselves they are very controversial, because I feel like they work with both of them, even though the sources that I got these from kind of are here and there. So number 5 for paperback is that you just get a feel-good sensation. I think this also gives you that sense of like, hey, if people come over, you can go, hey, look at these books that I have, you know, you can see them, you can do all that. It actually gives like an object a home where you live at, and people can actually see that and say, hey, I know you're a reader, versus you may have a tablet and them not exactly know that you enjoy reading. So maybe not. So that one, like I said, I think on that part, it kind of is something that is up in the air, because some people may not actually like that. They might say, hey, I got the tablet sitting out, that's really all I need. So and then the fourth one, or not the fourth one, the fifth one that is on our digital one is affordable discounts basically anywhere that you go. You can always do that. You don't have to travel around store to store to store to do that, and it will mostly just pop up on your tablet and let you know, notify you on what you can get and when it is discounted. Now, with the age of electricity and everything like that, and the internet, with things like Amazon and other places, sure, that's made it easier for us to buy our paperback books and whatnot. Sometimes that can still be a pain in the butt, though, because then you have to worry about them getting shipped to you. How long will it take? Will it come in damaged? Other things like that. So again, that's also another one. I think some people that really enjoy books, they'll know almost ahead of time when things are going to be discounted and what they need to buy and whatnot, versus with a tablet that you may need to basically sit there and kind of almost play the lottery in that sense, where you're looking at it and you go, oh, hey, this book popped up, I can get it for like a few bucks. Sure, let's go ahead and buy that. I don't know. And probably with both of those as well, you also kind of get to try before you buy a little bit, versus having to go to the store and do that. You can do everything with the tablet from home. Paperback, usually if you're going to go to a store and shop around, you kind of have to do it that way. So at the end of it, honestly, on all these, I feel like there is a lot of things, though, that could really go either way on either of these lists. We all have book lights at this point. We all have other stuff. I mean, shoot, I remember reading mine sometimes with a nightlight I took out of one of our bathrooms, just because it was like, hey, you're not supposed to have a lamp on. And I was like, oh, well, let me have a nightlight in my room so I don't run into anything if I have to get up in the middle of the night. And, it was acceptable. Like, hey, sure, yeah, that makes sense. And, I would just take the nightlight or whatever, and I'd sit there and I'd lay on the floor beside it. I'd read my book. So, there's a lot of different things that you can do. Sometimes you have those people that go to the bathroom and are in there for a really long time reading, at night sometimes, or just in general, in their comfort zone. So, like I said, I feel like a bunch of these are interchangeable, and while we have 5 for each, I really do think that there's a lot less than that. There's probably only 2 or 3 that actually can fully stand for each one and where they should go and where they should stay, because I think that almost all these, in one way or another, do that. And not only that, but you also have a lot of people, book readers, that would kind of not even do all of this stuff. Like, they see the benefits of both, they see the cons of both, and they own both. They have libraries, and then they say, hey, I also want to read this, and they may read it early on a digital thing and then reread it when they get a paperback, or read it and they get a discount and try it before they buy, and then buy an actual hardcover of that book. There's tons of different ways and things of how these people actually do different stuff. So as you can see, most of my stuff I like to consume paperback. There are some things like D&D stuff that I have that is more digital, just because I can get that more at a discount, and get it immediately, even though I would like some of that other stuff, but probably won't happen until somebody wants to send it to me. But yeah, so I hope that you guys had a good time listening to this, and hopefully you will come back and listen to more topics, discussions, things about manga, and check out some of my other channels that I have stuff on later on when they're up and running. And yeah, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Jen Graves out. And if you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and wait for more to come out for you guys to actually sit back and listen. So I will catch you guys later. Bye.